Hi guys, welcome to me migrating into my new bullet journal. If you're not a fan of curse words, I suggest you click off, because I'm vulgar. Ta-da! So I'm going to go through what I'm planning to migrate into my new bullet journal. I have my index, which I actually use. A lot of people don't. My year in advance, which goes into 2021. A layout cheat sheet for planning future spreads. My budget reference and my debt tracker. I'm down to just two things to pay off. My weight loss tracker, as well as a wish list to keep miscellaneous things I want. My backyard, home, and front yard plans. I also have an actual layout of the home. And then just kind of somewhere to put my inspiration for anything I need in my bullet journal. So, let's get down to the dirty work. So this page is mainly where I put my contact information, just in case for whatever reason I lose my bullet journal, but mine goes with me literally everywhere. Like I just got a new purse for my birthday, and I made sure when I was looking at the dimensions of the bag that my bullet journal would fit. So it's kind of like my child. I never leave home without it. But just in case something crazy happens, this is how people will know to contact me. And they'll kind of know what kind of person they're getting mixed up with, because I add a little spice in there. So next up is my, basically my cheat sheet for when I'm planning spreads and stuff. But next to that is my Are You Freaking Out page. Here and there I have issues with anxiety and having trouble kind of settling my mind. So I decided to make a no-brainer list of things that actually calm me down and help settle my nerves, so that way I can focus on what's going on in the world. And I haven't quite used it yet, which is a good thing, but it's always nice to have in your back pocket in case something puts you off on a day and it's just kind of hard to reset. Next to that, like I said, is my cheat sheet for setting up my spreads. So I have everything from halves to fifths on the page, so that way I can already know what the pre-measurement is, and I don't have to keep recounting and keep redividing and keep recounting and keep redividing, because nobody likes doing that. I did get this from Amanda Rach Lee, and she is by far one of the best resources for innovative things in my mind. And it comes in handy, but like she said, make sure it's on the left page. That way when you're making your spreads, it's a lot easier to flip back to, unless it's in the back of your book, and then I would suggest the right page. Next up is the index page. It's very self-explanatory, and it's definitely a personal choice. A lot of people don't use theirs. Sorry if you hear my dog's tag in the background. But a lot of people don't decide to put index in, but I like to, just because I have a lot of random lists that I like to refer back to. Like in my previous bullet journals, I've had lists where it was what to bring in my carry-on when we were taking flights, and I like to be able to find that in my other bullet journal, because this is my fifth one, and I know which book what list is in. It's just a matter of finding the page, and most of mine have at least 150 pages plus, so it's not something I want to flip through every page to find something when it's just a little list like that. So this is good to have for when you're referring back to old ones. After that, it is my year in advance. This one is, again, self-explanatory. You list out your days for each month. I list mine 1 through 30, that way I can mark future appointments and such. And then I have just blocks for 2021 because this will probably only last me 6 months. After that, my layout cheat sheet. So I decided instead of having random blocks in the back of my book, I'd have a spot to actually plan everything out ahead of time. And next is my budget reference. I plan out my budget the exact same way every single month, so I like to just come back here to copy and paste. That way I can keep all my money on track, and I know I'm not missing any payments or anything like that. And then those lines, they actually represent which paycheck it'll be from, or if it's weekly or not. And then to the right is my debt tracker. So this is going to take a little bit of extra explanation. So I have each loan, and then I have paid, balance, PTP, which is plan to pay, and goal. So plan to pay and goal are going to be pre-filled out because that's how much I'm planning to pay on my debt each month, and then the goal of what it should be after I make those payments. And then as I go month by month, I'll put how much I actually paid and what the balance is after that payment. And this just kind of helps me keep in mind as to how far ahead I am or how far behind I am. That way I can pay a little extra, or I know I can pay a little less and still be on track for paying off when I want to. And this is kind of something of my own invention, and I'm hoping that it comes in handy. I've tried several different debt trackers, and I think this has got all the pieces that I want and I need to keep me on track and keep everything paid off. Up next is my weight loss tracker. We're going to see how this goes because I feel like I've never really had success with weight loss trackers just because my weight fluctuates so much. I go back and forth a lot. So I'm not really sure how much benefit I'll get out of this, but it's nice to look back on and see, where you started at and where you'll end up at. And as you can see, my goal is to get down to 150 because for my height and age and, sex, that's where I should be. That's my goal weight. So we'll see if we can get down there. On the right side is my wish list. And if you've ever heard a Spice Girls song, you'll recognize that quote on the side. But this is where I'm going to kind of list out things that I want or need to replace. I feel like a lot of people don't consider the replacement aspect for that. So if something's worn out, then you can list it on there and upgrade yourself. And then we have my home planning, project planning section. On the left side of the page is my actual layout of my house, front yard and backyard. Eventually I end up putting the actual measurements of everything. This comes in super handy when you're out at a store. I'm a little bit of a weirdo and I keep a measuring tape in my purse. So that way if I ever come across anything furniture wise, I can measure it, I can kind of look back at my layout of my house, see if it'll fit, and then decide whether or not to purchase it. And this saves me from making a lot of returns. I highly suggest making something like this, even if you're just in an apartment. It'll come in handy, trust me. And then on the right side, what I just filled out was where I'll actually name out my projects. So like I want to build some form of patio in the backyard, or if I want to do some gardening in the front, I have a section to put it in. Or if I'm looking for a specific piece of furniture, I can put that in the middle section for the actual house itself. And my last section before June is my inspiration station. So this is just where I'm going to be able to print and paste random things that I find inspirational, or whether it be quotes or fortune cookies or just pictures of things or perfumes. This is where I can actually put it and reference back to it in case I'm looking for a little perk up or something along those lines. Something to get me re-involved in my bullet journal. Alright, and here is my final flip through of everything without the pencil lines, all my finalized details. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions about any of my spreads, please feel free to leave a comment. And if you enjoyed, please give it a like and subscribe, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Thanks, bye!